Hello and welcome to another review of Drones Visual. First of all, I would like to apologize for the delay on some of my reviews. I know I have kept many of you waiting. The main reason is, well, each review is actually very time consuming and I have mostly time on the weekends to work on them, so if it rains, if I'm busy with something else, I need to postpone. I also spent some time in Beijing, the capital of China, in Hobby Expo China 2016, which is the biggest RC expo in China, trying to get some footage of new products and stuff to share with you. Well, now I'm back and I'm catching up. I will do my best to keep the good work and hurry up with things. I'm currently finishing the Falcon 180, then I also have a few quads from XK and a big surprise that I intend to publish at the end of the next week, so stay tuned for that video. Today I'll bring you the second part of the review of the JYU Hornet S. I did manage to get the Fpv module that comes with it, although I had some issues with it while on the field, but I'll show you that later. What I'll do today is go over the features of the module, then take the JYU outside for a test flight to see how it performs, although chances are that you have already seen that some videos have surfaced on YouTube, but that's all good. You'll be better informed before deciding whether to get this quad. Let's now proceed to take a quick look at the module and the information it relays to the display, the OSD, and then we'll go outside and do some flying with the Hornet S. Here is the little box that contains the module. Actually, when I initially took the box, when I received the box initially, it was so light that I thought it was actually empty, but it was not. Now, here you can see the module outside the box, very compact and simple, and as I mentioned to you before, it is very light as well. Here you can get now a better view of the module. I believe the camera has a resolution of 700 TVL, and I'm sorry to tell you there's no SD card slot, so you won't be able to record video directly onto a card. Here on the side we have a group of apertures. They could potentially be to cool down the unit, maybe sound reception. I might need to look inside to see what's there. Then on the upper part we also have another group of apertures, but at this point I'm not sure what they are for. Here you can see the little tiny antenna protruding out of the module. I don't think they get any smaller. It's a good question about the range actually. Then of course the pins that insert into the connector of the quad. I'll show you this in a moment. On this side we will see 3 screws that hold both plastic plates that make up the module together. Let's now proceed to remove the protective cover that covers the connectors and then place the Fpv module on the quad. To do this, just firmly pull the cover out and then you'll see the compartment for the module and all the connectors as well. We will then go ahead and place the module and then gradually push it in until you hear a click. Let me now show you from a different angle, so you get a better view of it. Here you can see once the module is in position, we just need to press firmly towards the center of the quad and we will hear a click. And this is how the quad looks like once the module has been inserted. Beautifully crafted, I must say, nice and original. Then if we take a look under, we can again see the antenna pointing down. I'm not sure whether the antenna could suffer any damage over long periods of usage, and especially because it's so close to the ground. Now we have the Efi Monitor over here, so let's go ahead and turn on the quad and take a look at what information will be displayed on the monitor. As soon as we turn on the quadcopter, we will see some information appearing on the screen. This information is coming from the OSD unit and it certainly gives us valuable data. Let me get the camera closer so you can see here. You can see that we have many parameters being displayed here. Among them we see flying mode, battery voltage, flying time, we have a horizon level bulb, pitch angles in degrees, direction, strength of the signal, and so on. All of these very useful when flying. Maybe some of you might find it a little bit too crowded. And then here you can see that when we start moving the quad, the horizon and the degrees of inclinations, they will change as I move the quad from one place to another. Before going outside to fly, I wanted to use the opportunity to show you how the changing LED lights on this quad look like. I guess those of you flying in the evening will certainly appreciate this colorful display. You have a great variety of color combination, so it will certainly be quite a show to see it flying in the evening. Now let's go outdoors to fly. The first thing I will like to do is to show you the auto takeoff functions that could be of great help for beginners, and then I will do some standard flying around and look at the FPV capabilities of this quad. We're now in flying mode 1, flying mode for beginners, and we just need to press the auto takeoff button for a short while, and the quad basically takes off by itself. Now the next thing I would like to do is to insert the FPV module into the quad and hover it like in mode 1, which seems to have like the GPS hold, keeping the aircraft in place. Let's see whether the JYU can fly stably in place and keep its position without drifting much. Okay, here is the beauty now. I just took off, dropped the transmitter, and as you can see, the quad is in place hovering. It seems to be keeping its altitude and position without difficulties. Very slight drift, but it manages to correct position immediately, although it will struggle much more in windy conditions. Now we have a very calm day here, so no windy at all, just very foggy, and you can see that the JYU is doing a good job so far. This is how it looks from behind. You can see the battery indicators or LEDs on the back of the quad, and then obviously if you're flying FPV, you can see the battery voltage being displayed on your goggles or on the FPV screen that you're using. I'm taking my time here so you can see it from every angle. It's always nice to admire these incredible flying machines as they defy gravity and use technology such as GPS to maintain their position. It's just amazing, really. To record some quality footage directly from the aircraft, I opted for a Mobius. I know this does not look very nice, I don't even recommend this, but well, I went for it and I had no complications. Just use a sticky pad and place the Mobius on top. Not sure whether I should say don't try this at home, but anyways, you know that some of the footage that you'll be coming now or you'll be seeing is coming from this Mobius that I mounted here on the quad. We're now pretty much ready to take off. I will take it easy on these flights just because this is not the type of aircraft that I expect to survive a crash without considerable damage, you know, especially if you develop some speed and you crash, well, it's gonna suffer. Before this flight, I tried the beginner's mode, and it's nice for video and things like that. Just like you saw before, the quad is very stable, so if you have a gimbal version and you're all about capturing flawless sort of vibration-free video, and if you want to keep it, you would rather want to keep it in beginner's mode with the GPS hold and so on. While that mode is good for stability, video recording is not very fun if you want to be more of a speed or try to do some sharp turns and stuff like that. So I'm using the more advanced flying mode that allows the aircraft high yaw rates, or at least higher, and it gives you this sort of sporty feeling while flying. I'm certainly not pushing the limits or anything like that, but I can certainly feel that it's a fast quad, and while it's not a quad that I would use to race or anything like that, just because it would not survive a crash and it's not as fast as a racer, at least it's much more fun flying this one than any other, you know, big GPS quads like the Chirison or WL toys. They just feel like turtles in comparison to the JYU. Although it will be interesting to test the gimbal version and compare it to those quads in terms of quality of the footage and things like that. The JYU is certainly packing some good horsepower, but I don't think it can really reach 120 kilometers per hour. I think it's great that the JYU comes with it's kind of like a hybrid. And now what I want to show you is the issue that I have with the Efi Module. I will show you that basically I got a lot of flickering on the screen and the signal will basically fade after 10 meters. I will at the end of the video comment on this a little bit more. Regarding the battery, I believe that I squeezed around 60 minutes of flying time, roughly speaking. I could be a little bit more, a little bit less. I thought the quad might automatically engage in the landing, sort of auto landing, when the battery reaches critical threshold. It did not do it here, but I've seen that other people have done reviews and this thing works. I'm not sure why it didn't work in my case, but yeah, I'll comment more on that at the end of the video. Let's go now to the conclusions of this second part. First, let's start with the Fpv module. It is compact, very light and easy to place and remove. The quad can also display all sort of useful information through the OSD unit, which you will see on the display of your goggles or screen. Now you saw that I experienced some issue with the Fpv unit. I can't really tell at this moment what was the issue, but I was told that this unit that was over here is an early prototype. It was not completely, so basically I sent it back to the manufacturer, and according to them, they will replace this unit with an updated unit. So yeah, just keep this in mind, that that's what they say, that it is an early unit and that's why it had these issues. I had also the auto takeoff was working, but the auto landing didn't engage, and the same with the auto return home, that didn't engage as well. So I will get then a newer version with a different firmware, I guess, and I'll give it a test to see whether I don't experience those issues. I've seen that other people have already tried and without any major without experiencing the problems that I experienced. So I encourage you to also watch the other reviews. So basically, yeah, I hope I was able to provide you with some useful information. I mean, if you find the review useful, please give me thumbs up, and I encourage you also to come up with some questions or correct me if I made any mistakes. I think we'd all benefit from that. And also, if you're interested in the topic of quads and would like to receive fresh news and reviews directly from China, please subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you all in my next video.